Right, I've got 5 seconds. Don't know where they are. Could you throw them my way, please? Good morning, everybody. How are we all? Wow, how life can change in a day. Yeah, that was a bit of a shock, wasn't it, last night? So, obviously, come on, you two. These two aren't at school. Yay! So, what we're going to do is put them to good use, work experience. This is Freddie, this is Emily, aka Captain Small, aka Bear. So Bear and Captain Small are not at school today, are you? No. You're going to have to talk loudly into my microphone.
No.
No, they are not. However, we got this book, didn't we, Freds?
Yeah.
Yes, which is, what does that say?
Easy.
Mummy.
Masks. To
Teddy.
So,
Teddy.
you can wear the teddy, yeah. So, yeah, Captain Small has been trying to steal all our all our masks, smarves, anything she can find. And Ems, look straight up over there. There you go. So now, while I was on there yesterday, Jay,
My daddy.
it is your daddy over there. Yeah, he's waiting to take you away. So whilst,
Turkey.
okay, go on then, go and find daddy. Whilst Jay, no, right, back up again. Whilst I was on air yesterday, Jane whipped up a few masks. There are patterns in there, all sorts of patterns. She only needs one on at a time, sweetheart. This is Freddie's Lewis and Irene glow in the dark one there. So if you're out and about in the dark, Freds, we'll be able to find you, won't we? Because you will glow. By the way, did you know with the glow in the dark fabric, you have to charge it up in daylight? When it comes out of the packet, leave it out so that the daylight charges it. I had someone say, oh, mine doesn't work. No, it does. You just have to put it in. I know that's you there, Ems. You just have to put it in the sunlight. So you've got your glow in the dark one, haven't you? Fits a treat. You get elastic for 3 masks in there. Otherwise, we've got the elastic that we have got on the show, all tagged. Emily, what have you got? What's that on your face?
Teddy.
It's a teddy. That's right. Do you want to try your duck one? And as you can see, it's one of those things, they haven't really understood why they haven't needed a mask.
Look.
Quack, quack. Is that your quack, quack one? Which one do you like best? Oh, lovely. Thank you, Freddie. Yes, modelling that beautifully.
And Teddy.
Teddy one. Is Teddy the winner today?
Yeah.
She was quacking all over the place yesterday. That's a bit small for you. So, yeah, I will show you the book. Do you want me to put it on?
Yeah.
Yes, what? Yes, please. Good girl. There you go. Winner! So also I've put some fat quarter bundles for you. The book's on the show. There you go. There's the templates for the masks. And what we've done is we've put some fat quarters together of vanilla. There's a salt batik, a white and a black, so that you can make these ones straight off. Thanks, Em. Quack, quack. Beautifully modelled there, my darling. Yeah, yeah. Oh, okay, we're done with that one, aren't we then? There we go. Right, you two have got work to do with Daddy. Off you go. Bye-bye. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Thank you. Bye. 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 Thanks. Bye. Ooh, yes, I need that book. Thank you. So, and relax. Oh my goodness. Good morning, everyone. Let me just show you this book. Thanks, Jane. Oh, helps if I actually switch the camera. Easy masks to sew. Jane assures me they were indeed easy to sew. And you've got in here, it was just quite a sweet book, and I think, you know, they're not going to go away. I've got a 5-year-old nephew who is terrified to go into a shop without a mask on, and of course they just seem to make them for adults. So in here you've got pleated ones if you want to do pleated ones. all step by step, really full instructions. Fred's was a pleated one. You've got templates in there. You've got all sorts in there for adult sizes, kids masks, medium sized masks. You've got shaped ones if you want contoured ones. If you didn't manage to get when we had the templates on, then you've got all of those, and you can put the nose strips in there that we've got on the show as well if you wish. If you want to do little bits of fabric to cover the elastic, then you can. It shows you how to do those. It's got little kids ones in there just to make life a little bit more appealing, and it's got all of your instructions and everything there. And then at the back there, the 2 bonus ones there. Now, you're meant to do like little circular things, turn it through, press it. To be honest, we Bonder webbed it on. Bond and repair, Bonder web, mist diffuse, any of those things will just work with those. It saves you an awful lot of time. So there we go. That's that. They're there for you on the show if you would like it. Then you get the elastic in the back there, which obviously we've already used. And Jane did that gorgeous one in white, but what we've put in the bundle for you is a little vanilla one, so it's going to be a little yellowy duck. There we are. That is the first bit done. We've got a jam-packed show for you today, my goodness. And then when we come off air, I've got to change my house back into a school again as well. So that's going to be fun. Looking forward to that. We've already made a little start on that this morning, me and Fred's. There you go. There you go. So that would be your chick, and that would be your panda, or mix and match them through. Doesn't matter. But there we go. That's what we've got. Shall we say some hellos? Let's see who we've actually got with us this morning, shall we? Oh yeah, this one's got a little nose. It's got the little nose bit in there as well. For Fred's. Right. Oh gosh, I'm kind of out of room this morning. As you can see, we've got quite a lot of beautiful fabrics on the show. And look what Jane just whizzed up for me. Clever thing. Literally did that this morning with a creative grid. I've got so much to show you. It's bonkers, absolutely bonkers. I hadn't realised just how much I'd planned for the show until it came to loading it all. And once again, my incredible team stepped up amazingly, and we're like, yeah, no, we'll just, we don't need to sleep, it's fine. So who do we have with us this morning? Shirley and Francis, good morning. Elizabeth, good morning. Excuse me. Leslie and Pam, hello, and Kaz and Anne, good morning, and Jean and Anne, and Evie, good morning, and Jill, hi, Diane. So Diane, I've put kits together for the big quilt that I showed on Facebook. I'll show it to you in just a minute. But I've only got 6 kits. So if you want one, grab one now. They're all kitted in the most cost-effective fabric way that I can do. Locked up again. So I spend even more time to sew. Well, that's just it, isn't it, Francis? A lot of people are sad about being locked up. The rest of us that are crafters are like, yay! Time to do the things we love. Whoopee! Morning Heidi, morning Ellen, good morning Yvonne. Yeah, you see Kaz has got her girl off now until Feb. Yep. Pam says, good morning Bear and Captain Small, so lovely to see you all. Elizabeth, it is Freddie's second appearance. He didn't know why he couldn't come on in his pyjamas. He's been writing letters to his pen pal today. He's got a 93-year-old pen pal in Wales who's an old family friend. So he's been writing to Glyn this morning and managed to skip pen all over his face, not so much on the paper. Morning Heather, morning Joe. There we go. Morning all. Morning Laurie. Yeah, the masks are fab, aren't they? And yes, Karen, it is indeed the joy of homeschooling. What a joy that is. Must remember that. It's a joy. It's a joy. Yeah, joy. Good old Freds. Rona says they're very cute little helpers. Yes, most of the time. We do insist on good manners, Diane. Manners costeth nothing and maketh man, and all of that malarkey. Morning, Fiona. Morning, Donna. Hi, Kate. Hello. Yeah, well, we do get them trained early. Freddie is a trainee presenter. Yeah, do you know what? He'd probably be far better at it than me. He loves it. He absolutely loves it. And just down here, you can see the radiator there. That's generally where Emily makes herself a little bed nest. If she wakes up with me about 3:30 when I come to work, then she'll just come and bed herself down. She's got her little snuggly Tilda quilt, and she just beds in, and there's generally a bit of Peppa Pig or something. Kirsty's already been into the office this morning and was home again by 8 o'clock. Good work. She's now working in a dining room. It's all good. It's all good. Morning, Ali. Good morning. Good morning. Nothing showing on the website for today yet. What? Should be. Myra says your little ones are just so cute. A lovely sight to make up to. Miss my grandkids so much. Do you know what? Thank goodness for FaceTime. Because Emily now hasn't seen my grandparents for, my grandparents are her grandparents for, basically half her life. Yeah. Laura says, morning, busy helping my friends in homeschool hell. I used to teach 16 to 19 excluded kids, so I always made the teaching fun and outside the box. Do you know what I wish more teachers did? I used to, I used to teach maths and English and all sorts, and it's kind of the only way. I did a lot of work in schools and special measures, and we used to teach maths by adjusting recipes or pretending that we were doing the Olympics, or getting them out and running around and doing whatever they need to do. Susan says, morning, discovered watching you on YouTube via the TV. Oh, good job. I have no idea how you do that, so you're well ahead on me. Apparently there are lots of exercise classes and things you could find on YouTube as well, but so we can see that ain't happening right now. Morning, Heather. Cute book. Still haven't caught up on yesterday's show yet. Oh, do. Geraldine, the masks are ridiculously cute, and it's one of those things that they keep asking me why they don't have to wear them, and it's almost like they're getting a little bit worried that they're missing out on something, or that they should be. And like I say, my nephew, he gets really anxious about going in a shop now without one. So it's like, wow, okay, let's cover that then, because the smarts and everything are, you can adjust them to make them for kids. No reason why not if you've got the pattern. But they were made for sort of teenage full-size heads. Upwards. Claire says, hello, Minnie McCarthy's. Did you say a creative grid? Geraldine, yes, I did. It is, I don't know if you've got this one, it is the 120-degree ruler. It's this one. We're going to look at it in a little bit. We've got a lot to get through on the show today, which is never a bad thing. I had such a big full show planned before they announced lockdown, and, realised that the kids would be here. So this is, this is what that grid will make. I'm not going to lie, it's a bit blinking special, isn't it? I absolutely love that. Here's the thing, right? That took Jane this morning whilst I was sorting the rest of the show out. Probably took her an hour and not even an hour and a half from start to finish. If that. No, you wouldn't need many of those to make a massive quilt. So what I've done is I've put together some Kaffe Fusion. I'm going to call them Kaffe Fusion. I touched on this yesterday about how wrong it felt for me, and I felt like I was fabric cheating on the Kaffe Fassett Collective. You all know that I absolutely adore the three that make up the Kaffe Fassett Collective. Absolutely adore them. And I always get a little bit of a slap on the wrist by Philip if I just call the fabric Kaffe. He's like, and which fabric exactly is the Kaffe? And I'm like, okay, sorry, Kaffe Fassett Collective. It's just laziness on my part, and I should absolutely credit the designers totally and fully. So I do apologise. For me, the blanket, I use Blanket K as the K Facet Collective, and I shouldn't. The K Facet Collective is 3 people. It is obviously K Facet, Brandon Mabley and Philip Jacobs. They each have their unique talent and skill, and then Kaif will do the colour work that brings the collections together on his and Philip's work. But because he works so closely with Brandon, Brandon does his colour work because he's sort of involved in it all anyway. And I think it is a massive kudos that Philip hands over his designs once a year to Kaif, and he picks the ones that he wants, and then he does the colour work on them. And colour is obviously Kaif's thing, and Philip is very generous in handing over his designs. But he doesn't want to do the colour work like Kaif does, so it all works so beautifully together to give this incredible collective with such different skill sets coming together. It's just gorgeous. And so for me, I think a lot of the time, I don't necessarily need, I've already got 3 designers there that I love, so I don't necessarily need to step out of that. And I kind of feel safe because then I know that the colours are going to work because they're coming from the same palette. But then what happened was I moved all the warehouse around, and I moved all the fabric into just one area, and we had some new shelving and everything put up. And as we were doing it, there were bolts put on the floor, and some just happened by happy accident, happened to land next to each other. And I was like, oh, now hang on a minute. What's going on here? And also I had some gorgeous, gorgeous woven fabrics come, and I had assumed they were all Kaif, and a lot of them were, but 2, possibly 3 of them ended up being Anna Maria Horner's. But because the colours were so vibrant, I just assumed they were Kaif's and shoved them all in the same area. And yet, so I just want to show you all of it. I also want to show you some fabrics that we have put on special offer for you today whilst we were, we're in the middle of a stock take. So I found a whole load of Lewis and Irene, old Lewis, I say old, I mean, Kate was brand new last year, it's not exactly old, but it's a previous collection, and yeah, it had somehow got missed. And so we've put it down to $4.99 a half metre in our sale. And I thought if you're getting the book for the masks, then these are going to make some really cute masks. So let me start off with what we have on sale for you, and then we'll work up from there. Also, I stumbled across a whole load of kits for this little chap. Now, we did him on a show. Well, we started him on a show, and he's only just been finished off now. This is the Autumn Bear from Tilda, and look at his little shorts. I demoed those shorts on a show a little while ago, and this is, I keep saying about the chambray fabrics. This is the doll making and the toy making chambray fabric. So you can see it's really beautiful quality here and here, and you can actually get, well, I've got a few of these toys made. I mean, these haven't, we've made these, and they're made out of the same fabric. So that's what they would retail ready-made in. For example, this little chap here. And so if you, there we go. We're getting quite the collection going on. In fact, let's pop you guys up here. But if you did want to make him, the colourways that I've got, I don't know, old giraffe, you're going to have to sit there and look a bit uncomfortable. Here we go. I think we've put these on a little discount. Yeah, so you can make him, that's the body colour, so same as we've got there, and then that's his shorts. That's what he looks like in the instructions. So there he is. But this is just, because I wanted this to be for boys as well, and boys don't always want flowery teddy bears. So we've got some of those. Like I say, they're on a discount, and that's what they look like made up, and we have done those shows before. Let me pop that down. I've got 2 different colorways, so that's the main one that we've got. What I also missed yesterday, you know, we had the big Iona panels yesterday, and I said, oh, we've got some of the tartans. Completely missed this one. So I've done the same as I did for the others. Half meter heaven, $9.99. You get a half meter of your Iona. Look, it's got sparkly. This is all Lewis and Irwin, and then a half meter of your navy. I've only got 2 of those. That's it. Then let me show you these fabrics that we've got. $4.99 per half meter, because I've only got odds and sods. Excuse me. Yeah. So like, I've got 5 of those left, and that's it. But they're absolutely beautiful. Imagine some of those little masks, some of those little pleated masks in those. Gorgeous. I think I've got like 2 or 3 of those. So, you know, I mean, these are from the same collection, so you can mix and match. Rainbow elephants, I've got maybe 5 of those. And I've got a couple more of these because we ordered this after the show, so no one actually saw it on the show. I think I've got about 10 of those. I thought about half meter heavening them, but I just thought, you know what, they would just be so lovely for the masks. It would be a silly opportunity to miss. This is your rainbow dot, which goes with the whole collection, but goes with so much more as well. I mean, for instance, it's not going to look too far out of place with something like that because it picks out those purples all of a sudden, or with the gorgeous stripe that we've got on the show today. You know, so an incredibly versatile one there. And again, just $4.99 per half meter. When they are gone, they are gone. This is also rather glorious as well. The rainbows. So you've got the rainbows in 2 colorways. You've got it in a minty color and a rose gold color there. And again, just look how beautifully they go together. It's part of the same collection. You're safe to go with it, aren't you? So you'd have those at a half meter heaven price. Penny less actually. And then this, you see what I couldn't get in the photograph is that this has got, you can't see the metallic. These are edged in a little metallic, and I just think they would be gorgeous. Again, I've got 2 of those, but I've got slightly more of this one, which I just think is beautiful with the silver edging in there. Absolutely stunning. I mean, maybe buy a few at $4.99, buy a few and back your quilts with them. Do whatever you need to do with them. These are pre-cut, by the way. These are all pre-cut. So if you want them, please grab them when they are gone. They are gone. Gone, gone, gone. Alrighty, so that is the sale fabric. Again, keep an eye. We are doing our stock take at the moment, which means that we keep discovering odds and ends, and we will just put them up on our deals page. These will be tagged on today's show for you, just so that you know where to find them. So if you haven't shopped with us before, it's www.natashamakes.com. So my mum and dad shopped with us for the first time yesterday, which was hilarious because they bought the Halo vacuum, and my mum's got quite a big birthday coming up in a couple of days. I was like, oh, Dad treating her for her birthday. She was not amused with that idea. Apparently, you see, I was really thrilled with mine, so I'd been quite happy. But no. Morning, Susan. Morning, Naomi. Who else we got? Margot, good morning. She loves K-Facet. Well, who doesn't? I mean, it just shows you've got a pulse. Poonam, good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Laurie. Good morning, Jacqueline. Good morning. Oh, Gemma, hello. Oh, Gemma, it's your fault, is it? Gemma's having a little tidy up of the What's On Today page because there is, in shout capitals, so much. I know, I didn't realise. I have a little shelf underneath the cutting desk where I sort of put stuff, I squirrel stuff away for the shows, and I go, yeah, that'd be nice. And I can put that with that and this with that, and then they come out and they go all over the floor while I decide what's going to go with what, and then I shuffle them away again. And I meant to do this all last night, and then I had to take Maud to the vet. So, but she did get a glowing reference from the vet for how good her ears are looking now. So we hopefully, fingers crossed, crack that. And now we've just got to find out what the allergy is that's causing her to get ear infections. Hooray! Still sewing in Warsash, don't know where that is. Oh, on Southampton Water. Oh, nice, Penny, very nice. Good morning, Winsome Wright. You have one of the best names on here. And it always makes me think. My mum, growing up, her best friend, my mum, actually most of my friends, my mum's friends seem to be called Jane, and there are at least 5 of them. But Jane, lovely Jane, had 2 boys that I went to school with and grew up with, and then we lived in the same village. And David, the eldest one, he and his wife had a little girl, and she's winsome, and she's just, yeah, little Winnie she is, just fabulous, and it always makes me smile because it makes me think of them. And also one of Maud's sisters is called Winsome as well. It's a fine name, fine name. Looking forward to today, shielding and sewing. It's the 2 S's, absolutely. Morning, Jojo. Hello. Jojo, are you having to? Yeah, you see, I don't know. Do you? You're right on an island, aren't you? Scottish island somewhere. There's only about like 3 of you on the island, isn't there? So does that mean you have to? Does that mean you have to shield? I don't know. Oh, Ali says, can the children come back on, please? Natasha had computer issues and missed them. Might not be a great idea. They might never leave. They might. Okay, now let's have a look at, well, yeah, I was talking about fabric cheating, wasn't I, on the K Facet Collective, and I got waylaid. So I have blatantly fabric cheated. Gemma said a nicer way to put that is to call it a fusion quilt. And it got me thinking, right, how many times do you get a glorious signed book like the K Facet Quilts and Burano? This was his one that was launched in August. This was why I went down to interview him. How often do we get something like this? And I don't know if you've noticed, but last, gosh, we can call 2020 last year now, can't we? Last year, fabric was so hit and miss to come by that actually I promised you I would bring you quilt kits from this book and then couldn't get hold of all of the fabrics, for which I apologise. But actually, there's no reason why you can't use this like a recipe book. Now, I know my cooking is dreadful, but my fabric choices hopefully are better. So, fingers crossed. At least you don't have to eat it, you just have to look at it. So, what I was thinking what I thought was, I had a look through and I chose fabrics basically that A, I love, B, are on a big scale that I hate cutting up into small because I can't necessarily see enough of them. And went with colour palettes because let's face it, if you have a colour that you are drawn to, oh, mine would be this, by the way. I've just realised I'm even wearing the colours that I'm drawn to. Then it's one of those things that you're probably likely to have quite a bit of it in your stash, which means that then you can either top up, add to, do whatever you need to. So I spent hours playing with different bolts of fabric to see what effect I could get, because one of the quilts in here, and there are so many that I want to do, but one of the ones that I wanted to do in here is in 2 different colorways. This is Flaming Hell. You know, I can say that without, it's not me swearing, Flaming Hell, that's what Cave called it, Flaming Hell. And here it is. And if you are a beginner, I mean, it's just so easy because it's basically just sashing. It's just the colour combination. So you start with a panel in the middle and then you frame it and then you sash with different colours as you go round and round. And it is simple, it is effective. It is, I don't know if it's a word, impactful, I'm going to use it. And it's just really, really rather stunning. And you've got it in Flaming Hell, and then you've also got it Green with Envy. Same quilt, different colourway. This was Brandon's choice of colours, and he's gone with the purples and the greens. Looks glorious, absolutely glorious. And he described this as his little bit of chili just to make stuff pop. And he's so right. But I didn't have all these fabrics and I couldn't get hold of all of these fabrics. So I went with what I've got. Ever resourceful, right? And if you do not have Cave's book, I still have a few beautiful signed copies if you want to grab them. So do take a look, that's on the website as well. The fabrics that I went with, now that has got 7 borders, which makes it huge. I went with the center panel and then 6, and it is big. It is big, all right, but I'm toying with the 7th. I love it. I mean, it's huge. This is, I'm not, okay, so the other thing that I do need to tell you is I will not be quilting this myself. I've already cleared it with John Cole Morgan that this is going to come to him. It's not that I can't on my machines. I've got beautiful machines. It's just that I know my limits, and for me at the moment, I don't feel like I've got the time to do it justice. So this is going to be heading off after the show to John to do the quilting on his fabulous machine. You know, he's got the know-how, so he can do that. So what I started with was, if that all makes sense, I started with Philip Jacobs' Brassica in Sky, which is this one. And it just so happened to sit really beautifully next to the Moda Seeing Stars in Turquoise grunge, and that has got purples in, it's got greens in, it's got pinks in, it's got all sorts of colours when you get up close to it, all those colours that are in there, and I just thought that frames it beautifully. And then I wanted those pinks and mauves, and this pinky stripe woven, and it is a woven, that's not a printed, that is a woven. I had assumed, because I'd whacked it with all my other wovens, that it was a Kaffe one. It's not, it's an Anna Maria Horner one, but gosh, doesn't it work with those colours. And then I whipped out my bearded iris. And that's the next border, because I wanted to pick out these blues and pull these blues through. And of course it's got greens in, so then I had another, and again this is another Anna Maria Horner woven, and that is the blue from there. So again, I'm picking out the blues and the teals in there, the turquoise is there, into there, and I'm drawing it through to the edge. And that was how my colour choices went. And then I was like, oh, actually, do you know what? I would quite like, and I was going to stop at this one. I was going to stop on here. I was like, that's big enough. I can't, for a few reasons. Firstly, for me, that was big enough. And secondly, because I was going to hang it on the wall, and I can't show anything much bigger on the wall. So ever practical, right? Ever practical. So that is your flower dot in stone. But again, look at the colours that it picks up. So I did all of that, and I did that border. And I was like, yes, I can see that it's picking up now. We're picking up the pinks in here. I was like, but do you know what? There are purples that we're missing. There are purples in the middle, there are pinks, there are blues. I just need a fabric that's going to pull the pinks, the blues, the mauves. I need something that's going to pull all of those colours together. And then, of course, I went, of course, I've got my Millie Fury mauve back in stock. Not a lot of it left now, but so back in stock. And that just did it. That suddenly made the pink wovens round that middle just make sense. It just pulled the whole lot together. And I don't know whether or not, I'm going to be completely honest, I have kitted this with these fabrics, these exact fabrics in these exact places. And that is what I've kitted because you asked. So I have kitted that. Look, here it is. Okay, so you get, and like I said, I've only got 6 of these just because that's all the pink that I had, the pink stripe that I had. So there's your brassica, there's your stars, there's your stripy one, there's your bearded iris, there's your blue stripe there, there's your spots there, and then there's your Milli Fury. And that's everything that you need, and the amounts that you need, the proportions that you need, good to go. That is coming in at under £90 for, gosh, how much fabric was it? It was quite a lot. Yeah, was it nearly 6 meters of fabric? Beautiful. If you want to be absolutely faithful to the pattern and put on another 6.5 inch border strip, which is what it asks for, then I think it's 1.65 centimeters it calls for. So it would be another 2 meters of fabric, and the fabric that I thought would work, I've got two options for you, but I don't know if you can see over here, this pile that I've put together here, this was the one that if I was gonna put a final one around it, and I still might, depends how much goes today as to whether I've got enough left, but it would be this one. And this is your Dancing Dahlias in red. It's just stunning, and I think it would just give it that final full stop, because it's got the purples and the blues that we've seen everywhere else. It's got this turquoisey bright sky blue that we've seen all the way through there, but it's got just a deeper tone of the pinks to give it just that full stop. So it's not in the kit, because you asked me to kit what I'd done. But if you did want to finish off and give it that full stop, then that is the one that personally I would do it in, and it is available by the ½ meter. It will be cut in a continuous length for you. So if you want to, and it's entirely up to you, if you've gone for the kit and you want extra, then it would be 4 units of that you would need to add, and you'd have a lot left over, but that would be it. So what I have left for you, there's some Milli Fury by the ½ meter. Again, we will cut it to order, which is this one here. It was one of the first to sell out when we got the collection in. We still have some of this by the ½ meter. So if you've just seen the fabric and you don't want to do the whole quilt, or maybe you want to do it in a different order, then, you know, I've done it so that you can either buy the kit and not worry about amounts, or if you want to just, you see a fabric that you just love and you go, actually, yes, seeing it like that, used like that, perfect. So this was just what I've done. And then I've left one edge left just to sew on this one, for the simple reason that I just wanted to talk through, it is such a beginner's quilt in terms of technique. I think for me, the skill comes in choosing your colour choices, and then if you were to quilt it yourself, that would be the other thing where you would, you know, that's where your skill set would come in. Let me just pop this up under here. There we go. Oh no, come on. Bear with me, caller. Let me just pin this up onto Jane's quilt here. What I need is actually to get my quilt all up, don't I? And then I can just peg everything onto there. We're doing this tomorrow, by the way, because whilst 99% of you have got your blocks of the months through, I just want to make sure that everyone has. We're going to look at that in a minute. And those fabric choices, which incidentally you can see here, work so beautifully with these as well. And we'll look at that again in a minute. Gosh, there's so much to do. So this is made up basically of 6.5 inch strips once you've done your panel and then your border. They're all, that's what I mean, it's like, it's a lovely, easy one to do. and this is my strip ready to sew. Now you've got two choices. They give you all of the measurements as to how much you need to cut and the lengths and everything. But if you are a beginner and if you are out in any way, you don't want to have like a wedge left at the end. So for me, the way that I went around that was, first of all, you sew your two strips together. And I don't think with the Milli Fury that you can really see it that much in there. Would you know where the join was? I don't think so. Let's have a little checkity check. And I've just done it right sides together, sewn them together, trim back 1/4 of an inch, press them open, and that's it, we're good to go. So when you get these longer lengths, you will have to do that to join them. The other thing is, okay, pained me to do this, but if I'm investing, and I'm so excited about this because I have never made a quilt this big before, ever, so I was super duper excited about it. And they are investment pieces, but they are absolutely stunning. Normally when I sew strips together, I don't pin. I don't pin, you know I don't pin, but for this, I pinned. It was really worth it for me to pin. So I've cut off the selvage edges, and I am just gonna I found myself doing that thing of just tapping the fabric to just pin it into place. And because we haven't been ridiculously accurate with the cutting of it, we have on the width, but we haven't on the length. We've given ourselves a bit of wiggle room on the length. If you want to overlap it ever so slightly on the end and then trim it back, you can do that. And it makes a really nice, neat job of it. So these are the things that you just won't read in the book because they're not in there. Because, you know, they just don't, no one's going to do that. And I am absolutely lining everything up. And again, use your cutting mat to bounce the pin off rather than disturbing the fabric. That was what I found sort of worked best. And then it all slid in. But that's only going to work if you've got lovely super sharp pins like the quilting pins that we have on the website. So hopefully... Do you know, the hardest thing, do you know what? Life's not bad, isn't it? If the hardest thing today was trying to work out the best way to bundle the fabrics for you, I'm like, but what if people want to make the quilt exactly as it is? Well, what if people don't want? What if they want to do the fabrics in a different order? And I thought, look, no one's ever going to complain of having too much fabric, but you would complain if you didn't have enough. So if you do want to do your fabrics in a different order, the only one that you should really keep the same, and actually you could go the next layer up, is the pink stripe. So you could swap that up, but that's it really. All the other fabrics you can buy an extra ½ meter of, apart from the blue. So, you know, you could either keep the blue stripe where it is, or just because I didn't have any more of that, or make it smaller. And maybe, you know, maybe you just want to start off with smaller sashing, you know, and you want to make a smaller version, or you want to make it with the leftovers. You could probably make a little matching cushion or something out of it. And that's always lovely to have. So by the time that we're working with stuff this big, and it's rare that we get around to making a quilt this big on the show. So that was another little skill that just... You know, you just have to learn. I'm just shuffling it up there. Very technical term, isn't it? Because I do have quite a lovely big desk. But this was the other reason for pinning it, is just making sure that I am pinned, because I am going to have to manoeuvre it now that there is such a long length here. And here we go. I am so excited. I'm already talking to John about different colour threads and all those sorts of things. I think. You see, if I was good with westerly rulers, then I would be putting on the plainer ones, I'd be putting all sorts of different motify things, and it just becomes a whole other art form, doesn't it? But for now, I think, and I'm sure that John will have opinions on this as well. I think that what I will probably ask for will be circles, a lovely circular pattern on here to echo the circles that are going on within the designs, and to give a contrast to those stripes. Now, at this point here, you can, I've got that much left at the end, basically enough for a little mask for one of the kids. There we go, left on the end there, folded over. So I'm going to trim that off at the end, and this is where having your quilting rulers and stuff is great. But I will pin right up to that end, because this was the other thing that it's tempting to do, and I've done this when I've done log cabins. I don't know if you have too. Not pinned and then just gone slightly off at the end, and by the time that you finish, it's thrown the whole thing, because even if you're just off by a little 1/8 of an inch just on that end, it just throws the whole thing. So on this, I've been super careful to make sure that I've pinned right at the start, I've pinned right at the end, and I've pinned everywhere in between. And we're just going to run that on there, and then we are good. Are there any questions? Morning, Christine. Morning, April. Have you had emails from SJ and Inga? They were sorting out your order for you. Diane, I'm a little bit dyslexic, and I completely misread that as website up now. I read that as website upside down. I don't know why. Claire can't stand homeschooling. He's young enough to catch up later. Do you know, I read an amazing post the other day about your kids are at home with you for 6 weeks. Okay. So what happened last time, we weren't precious about homeschooling. But my goodness, Freddie did loads of maths in the car. He listened to the Horrible Histories podcasts with us in the car. If we had to do some deliveries, Stephen does pizza deliveries and things like that. So, you know, he's had to be in the car for lengths of time, because otherwise we don't have an income and we can't feed them. We can't put a roof over their head. So that's our option. And it hasn't killed him. He's now very good at history. He talks about all the different horrible histories that he's learned. If you've got kids, the Horrible Histories podcasts are brilliant. And then they've got like a version for grown-ups as well, which is equally fun. Just a few more swear words in. And he did drawing and art, and we made things. I bought a whole load of stuff off Hochanda for their crafting, their 3D crafting, and they decorated MDF, and Emily did painting, and I've ordered her more poster paints today. I put some of our sewable plastic down, a couple of meters of that down on the floor in the conservatory, so that Emily can paint to her heart's content, because then I don't have to worry about the carpet and the floor, you know, at the end of the day. Costs me, you know, not to have the worry, worth every penny. So, you know, we do what we do, don't we? And at the end of the day, they will learn about colour, they will learn about fabric, they will learn about running a business, they will learn about loading stuff for shows, they will learn about, they help me do the counting, they help me put kits together, they help and they learn. And he's not going to talk about business necessarily at school. Emily's not going to get this access to colour at school. And, you know, I talk about profit and loss and margins and all those sorts of things that he's 6, you know. They don't teach that at school, because why would they? And they don't, you know, they don't teach sewing at school, but it's a life skill. So I don't feel bad if that's what they're learning from me, because the maths will catch up. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. And the other thing that we do is look at people's, if you're in the car or anything like that, or if you've got cars driving past the end of the road, the other fun game, I say fun game, is just adding up or multiplying or whatever the numbers on number plates. And it soon sorts out their mental arithmetic, because when I was teaching maths, the first thing that I used to do with any year, and this was secondary school maths because they'd all forgotten it, was go through their times tables. Because if they don't know their times tables, then nothing else makes sense. Nothing else makes sense to them. So if you do nothing else, just do your kids' times tables with them. And they'll be brilliant. They'll be brilliant. Is my humble opinion. Read books with them. We read every night. And just talk to them. You know, that's the thing, isn't it? Just talk to them and explain things. And Freddie's growing some crystals at the moment. We're really lucky because Inga trained as a geologist, so Freddie's always been able to ask her about, he wants to be a paleontologist. I'll never forget, we were in a shop in the days when you could go to shops, and he was only about 4.5, and buying some bedding, and the poor shop assistant, she obviously thought he was quite sweet, and he was chatting away, and she said, oh, and what do you want to be when you grow up? And I think she thought he was going to say something like a policeman or a fireman or whatever. He looks her dead in the eye and goes, I want to be a paleontologist. She just looked at me and went, what's one of those? And I was trying really hard not to giggle. Part of me thought, please don't ever ask me to spell it. Freds can spell it, I can't. And the other part of me was thinking, well, you never watched Friends then, did you? But, you know, that's the thing, isn't it? If kids can remember dinosaur names, they can remember any long word thrown at them, is my humble opinion. Oh, I'm on a school soapbox this morning, aren't I? There's a reason that I quit teaching. Anyway, here we go. This is the funny thing. Before we moved to Cornwall, I was teaching English at Stratford High School. And I would now, weirdly enough, be teaching, if I was still there, be teaching my friends' kids. And that's a bit weird. That's really weird. Means I've grown up. Means I've grown up. And that's just odd. Although I was the one teacher. When they did World Book Day, I was teaching Animal Farm. The only outfit that I could get I was teaching A Midsummer Night's Dream and Animal Farm, and the only outfit that I could get that looked remotely like anything out of Animal Farm or Midsummer Night's Dream was a full Eeyore outfit, like a full body Eeyore outfit, head, ears, the lot, full body furry outfit. So yeah, there's the other teachers that have maybe, you know, drawn a Harry Potter scar on their face or something like that. Nope, I'm walking around as a full furred up donkey. Yep. There are photos somewhere on the internet that will never let me forget this fact. It's like the kid that didn't get the memo about, well, it's the opposite, isn't it? It's the kid that didn't get the memo about it being what do they call it? The days where you don't have to wear your school uniform. One of those days. It's like, yes, you did not have to dress up as a full-blown donkey. Another reason I'm not teaching. Oh, beautiful scraps. They're going in the old scrap bags. Beautiful. Oh. I have a message from SJ and Josh who have put a little survey on our website because we want to know what you want. So if you could take a moment, it would be so appreciated if you could just take a moment it's only 5 questions on the survey, just answer it. It just helps us help you. That's all. Is all. That is pretty much it. I will now just press, so even, it's huge, even with this great big amount of fabric, I will still work my way through. I will press the seam on top and then knock it back with the edge of my, that one looks like it's already been done. Which was the one I just sewed? Here it is. I am awake, honestly. That out the way. This is where the pressing mats are fab, because you can just have it, there. But when you press back, it does give it such a lovely crisp finish. It's really beautiful. And so if I just press there, just to show you, because then, and I'll do it at this angle, you can see here that all I'm going to do is just square up, keep that edge. If you've got a ruler that's going to measure exactly, and then you can measure everything exactly, then do that. But I'm just going to keep this in line here. On this seam here, I'm going to make sure that my ruler runs along that seam, so I know that everything is going to line up beautifully, and I'm just going to trim off that edge so that if I do add another round, then I've just got a nice squared off bit there. And that's it, you know, it's as simple as that. I'll do that on the other end, and that will be that, as they say. And then this was, it was meant to be the last round. I've done it again. I've lost what side I was pressing. There we go. It's meant to be the last round, but I am now really tempted to just add in. I think that would look gorgeous. That enchanted. I would never have done anything like this when I first discovered Caves Fabrics. I'm going to be honest, I wouldn't. The cost of it, the boldness of it, the colours, I wouldn't have ever have had the confidence to believe that the colours go together. And Liesl, bless you, you asked me, and I was thinking about it, I thought I didn't actually give you an answer. She put some beautiful fabrics together and said, she just said, oh, do you think that Kate and Brandon would approve? And I think it comes down to this. If it makes your heart sing, if it gives you pleasure, then yeah, because that's all they want. There is no right or wrong. And this is the trouble, isn't it? We go through the school system and we're told that things are right or wrong, and we're graded because, you know, we have to be, and that's completely, you know, that's completely how it is. I'm not knocking the school system at all. Goodness me, I adore my kids' school. But it's one of those things that, especially with art, I find it really difficult, and English. You're told that something's right or wrong, but it is subjective. And it's just, if you love it, and that's just it. You know, for me, I've put together the colours that I love, and I've put them together in a whopping great big quilt. Now, these are the colours that I go for. They're the colours that I love. They're the colours that sing for me, that make me happy every time I look at them. They're not everyone's colours. That's okay. It's completely okay. They're mine. They're mine, and I love them. So I've put them together because they're what I love. These are my happy colours. And for me now, I am so thrilled. That is going to now go away and be quilted. And then I have got the biggest quilt I've ever made. Perfect. And did I invest in that fabric? Yes, I did. Do I love every single fabric in that quilt. Yes, I do. So how can it possibly be wrong? It's not, and it's for me. Yeah, I'm not making any bones about that. This is for me. It will go on shows. It will, it will be used to show colours. But it will be my quilt. And the beautiful thing about Natasha Makes is that I do the buying, I source everything, I talk to my suppliers, I get what I want from my suppliers, what they can supply me, they know the sort of things that I'm looking for. And I don't ever now have to do a show that somebody else has chosen, somebody else's colourways, and stand there and go, oh, this is really lovely, if my heart doesn't think it. I can appreciate other colours for other people and their, I can appreciate other people's things, but if it doesn't sing, you guys know, I know. So I haven't made New Year's resolutions, but if I were to make one, or we could just call it the Natasha Makes ethos. What was Josh's thing? It's a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle. Is that, and this is kind of my pledge to you, I will only bring fabric to you that I love. Because let's face it, if any of it doesn't sell, it's me that's left with it, isn't it? So I've got to love it. I've got to love it. So there we go. That's what I will do. So if you are buying fabric that you love, how can you go wrong? It's as simple as that for me. Morning, Leanne. Good morning, everyone. Just picking the hubby up from the doctors. Oh, catch you later. Oh, I hope everything's okay. Thank you, Geraldine, for doing the survey. Christine's popping over to the shop. Well, you do that. Our shop. Safe, you see? Safe. Tea ready, survey done. Natasha Makes on the big screen. It's a good morning. Oh, Margaret, good morning to you. And Evie loves the stars. I do not blame you at all. If I have to have a vacuum for Christmas, Tash, says Ali, I'm sure your mum will survive as I have done. I will make Paul vacuum now. Win-win. Oh, I know. I hope it's not her birthday present. I'll be having a word with Dad if it is. That's not okay. Oh, good, Janet, your block of the month's arrived yesterday. Yay for the ears, said Heidi. That's talking about the dog's ears, I think. Oh, Colette managed to get her blue and pink K-Facet Fusion quilt kit. Yay! Jackie's bought her fabric bundle as well. Oh, Christine's brought it as well. Oh, guys, do you know, I'm just so pleased. Right. Jojo says, yes, Tash, I live in the Isle of Man in the middle of the Irish Sea. We have our own, hang on, it's quite a message, but I'm intrigued because I don't know about this. I don't really watch the news. Stephen just has to tell me the highlights because it's depressing, I don't watch it. We have our own little government who shut our borders months ago, except for key workers and returning residents. As a result, we no longer have the virus in the community and life has pretty much returned to normal for us, with of course the exception that we cannot visit family and friends in the UK and they cannot visit us. I was shielding at first when the virus was here, but now I'm allowed out, although I do still, of course, practice safe hand hygiene. Well, yes, as we should always. Wishing all the UK a safe lockdown and real hope that the virus gets knocked on the head for once and for all. Oh, bless you. Thank you. Do you think the quilt is big enough for a double bed? As it is, you're going to make me measure, aren't you now? I just folded it away. I can do this. Right, so we will want to measure that way. Bear with me, caller. Do you want it in centimetres or inches? You guys can do the maths while I add this up. Okay, so 1 metre, that's 40 inches, isn't it? It's a smidge over 2 metres, so it is 82 inches wide. Oh, I've just snapped a nail. 82 inches wide by, bear with me, caller. 9 You would be adding on another 13 inches, by the way, if you wanted to do the other round, I think. Is that right? No, just under 12 and a half. So that's 1 metre-ish there. So by 194, so by 77 inches. Is that big enough for a double bed? Hang on, I've got my chart on the wall. Mattress size for a full size is 54 by 75 inches. Yes, 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 yes. King size bed is 76 by 80 inches. If you want to go king. I don't know if these are American sizes. Queen is 20 by 30 inches. European, 26 by 26 inches. There we go. King size, 26 by 36 inches. So there you go. It depends if you want drape, basically, I guess. So that's how big that is as it is. I'm going to just bear with me because that's going to catch on everything. And then we're going to look at oh, you know, I said, did I say yesterday? I can't remember, about we had a box of things that I thought had gone missing, completely lost. These have been missing for months. For months. But let me show you them because they're really cool. And I've got lots of different designs here, and I will demo with one here. But you know, I'm in need of glasses denial. Well, here's the thing, right? I've got these and they're called Spec Mates, and I don't know if you've seen them at some of the shows. They're there a lot. But you attach it to your clothes and then you just pop the end of your glasses in there. Here's how it goes. It's on magnets, so there's no damaging delicate fabrics or anything like that. You take the back off like that, pop it one side of your clothes, it finds itself there like that, and then I need to find, I've had a little tidy up, so goodness knows where stuff is. Have I got any glasses in this glasses case? I gave up wearing glasses after I ran over a pair on the drive. Whoops, there we go. These are very, very out of date ones. Whoa! Oh, very out of date ones. There we go. So they just sit there, and then you always know where they are. And you won't reverse over them in the driveway like I did, much to they were new as well. My dad was mortified. He'd just paid a lot of money for it. Was when I was still at school. I just learnt to drive. Probably should have been wearing my glasses. Yeah, and I reversed over them on the driveway. They were the spring back ones actually, so they did survive. But yeah, it's ever so handy, these. They would have made great stocking fillers had I actually found them in time. It's the worst case in the world. What other ones have I got here? I've had a little tidy up. I've got lots of glasses now. Nope, none in there. I've peeked. There we go. Do you want to see the designs that we've got for them? Here we go. So we've got that one. I think we've got better pictures on the web. Got a zebra. Each of the team have got one. They love them. It's the closest thing you can get to a holiday. So, you know, why not wear it? If you just want something plain. But you see, look, they've just got the magnetic backs. Woo! So they just snap on. They don't damage your fabric at all. And they're always there. It's one of those things that you go, of course, what a brilliant idea. Why have we never had these in our lives before? They're on the show. Finally, I finally found them. Right, let's look at these. Let's take a peek and look at these, because when I was putting together my great big quilt, I wanted to give you 3 different colourways, but then it was too hard to choose what order to put them in. So I thought what I'm going to do is, if you've got the book, you can look up the fabric quantities that you need. I think the maximum in there is like you'd need to add a meter onto some of these. But whilst I was looking around, having a look at what was needed, then this was what I came up with. So I was going to have this for the middle. And what you'll notice, actually, this is your brassica in red. So you can either buy this in the bundle with all the colours that work really beautifully together, in my humble opinion, because again, it's difficult to do on a screen. But what you can see up here is how beautifully those colours work together. And again, I've only bundled a handful of these, and then the fabric is available. And that's just because of the lowest common denominator that I had, which was however much of, now this one is case woven, but isn't it glorious? All those beautiful earthy tones in there, but you've got purples, you've got, when you look at it, there are some really bright colours in there. Look at these purples and those teals in there. So I was like, right, okay, if we've got those teals in there and those purples, then just look, that will pull those out of there. Let's see how this combination then works together. So you've got your brassica there. And then, look, this is, as soon as I put that on there, and this is your Seeing Stars Moda Grunge, and it's Pool, that's the colour, P-O-O-L. But you've got so many different greens and teals in there. It's really beautiful, and it just suddenly picks out these, doesn't it, in there? So that's what I would have edged. I would have had this as the middle panel and then just edged in there. Then you've got your diamond stripe, which starts to bring through the pinks. And then I probably, because I think this is so underrated and I absolutely love it, this is your Pacific spot. The green and the tealy blue in there is gorgeous. Starts to pick up that colour. Don't they work beautifully together? Picks up the green in there. So it's picking that through. And then you've got a choice, haven't you? Because you can either bring in your stripe, or you can save that for the end and finish in that, because I thought that, and this is your Lotus in vintage, I mean, yes, how beautiful are those together? But then you see you bring in that as well, gorgeous. But it's amazing how, if you just add that in, these tones here come through in here. So it starts to pull the purples through there, and the greys here pull through into there. And you've got the greens that work through and pull to there. And then for me, it just finishes off beautifully with that stripe. Although I would probably do the stripe that way, so it looked like I'd done some really clever piecing, and I hadn't. So that's the order that I sort of played with it in. I played with having this up here and this down here, down there, and then having that closer to there, and then that, and there are so many ways, and then finishing off with a real bright note on there. There are so many ways you can play, so many ways. It's just a glorious fusion. And then I stumbled across, I was tidying up and I came across the 120-degree ruler from Creative Grids. I thought, I haven't even used this. This is ridiculous. I haven't actually used this ruler. And if you look at the ruler, it's going to give you some beautiful big contrast pieces. So never throw the Creative Grids instructions away, because they are brilliant. And you can do it with, so you can make these blocks if you want, and that's just 2.5 inch strips. Perfect. So maybe you've got some jelly rolls or something you want to use up. Perfect. And you just cut them one that way, then one that way, and sew them together. I'll show you how to do this. So you then have a different colorway. Perfect. And then, so if you want to do it, this is the one that we've done, that Jane, bless her, has done. No Y-set seams because of a clever little thing that is done down there. And this would be the next step, is to then do these around there if we wanted, or just to keep it like that if we want to do that. It's rather beautiful, or like, there are so many options. If instead of doing strips, you just do a different fabric in each one, you're laughing. You are laughing. Okay, so let's have a look then at some of these, because this is what made that, which is quite sizable, and there's still all of these left over, and loads of those left. So we've still got all of those to play with. Now, if you wanted to do like several of those in different colorways, wouldn't it be amazing? I just love it. Ah, it's super gorgeous. So let's have a look at another colorway that I would possibly throw into the mix. And then we'll have a little play. Eek! And I'll just show you the basics with the ruler, because then how you then put it together is such personal choice. And so many options. This is the joy of it, isn't it? And this is what you can't always easily do on the internet, is play around with colour, check that the colours work together, that tonally they're of a similar then, or that actually if you put one thing near another, are they going to work? Do you have that mid-tone, light tone, dark tone? Yes, we do. Yes, we absolutely do. So that was one colourway. Then the other colourway, which I thought would work beautifully, is this one down here. So let me show you those. You can see what I mean? It's like a full-on show today. Right. Oh my goodness. Let's have a look on the desk at these. Philip Jacobs for the K Facet Collective. Check that out. So if you want this bundle, you will get 1/2 metre of that. You will get 1/2 metre of pomegranate in plain. You will get 1/2 metre of Kaif's shirt stripes in green, rather gorgeous. You will get 1/2 metre, and I know that people panic about this because it's bright and vibrant and fabulous. I think that's Brandon's. I have a feeling. Maybe it is Kaif's. Anyway, that's your oranges and lime. Bit confusing, but bear with. And then, okay, so we've got a plain in there, just because it works so beautifully there, and picks up that colour and this colour, and then look at this. So this is your Moda and it picks up all the greens. Who knew? Who knew that there were all those greens in there? And in there, it just pulls all those colours together. And then you've got Kaif's beautiful Enchanted in Rust, which pulls up all of these colours through here. And then to top it off, this is one of Kaif's wovens. How beautiful is that? These feel amazing, by the way. Pop a bit of best press on it and you're gonna go a treat with them. But so what's the difference between, you know, isn't all fabric woven? I hear you ask. What do I mean by a woven? So what I mean by a woven is, you can see on here, like this is printed on. Yes, it's a woven fabric. The substrate, which is the base cloth, is a woven fabric, and it's a very good quality one, which is why you can get the detail. But you can see it's printed. Okay, so with a woven, when I talk about wovens, this is what I mean. That the actual, here we are. If I pull that back, there's no difference to the front or the back, because the actual thread colour is what gives it its colour. The actual fibres themselves are woven, and it's that combination of colours. So it's almost, I mean, almost looks like a shot cotton in places, because, and this was a new skill that Kaif had to learn when he started with his wovens, was the different colours that you would get using different colours on the warp to the weft. You could create and work and create just the most magical colours. I've just spotted that is that colour there. Oh, that's stunning. God, I love this. Absolutely. There's a purple through there as well. But either the warp or the weft is purple and it's been crossed with a green. Oh, it's just divine. And when Kaif started doing wovens, he travelled to India, to a village there where they were being hand woven, and he had to travel 3 hours to go and pick the dyes and the fabric, the colours for this. And by the time that they actually reached the place to get the yarn to weave, it was dark. He had to pick all of these colours under electric light. Now, if you've ever tried to colour match, electric light is not what you, just not what you want at all. So, and then had to drive all the way back. And but I tell you what, that place in India where he started doing his woven fabrics has just gone from strength to strength. They now have electricity, they now have actual concrete floors so that they don't have to stop if it rains. They're actually undercover if needs be and can protect themselves from the rain, so they can work, you know, even in the rainy times. This is just sublime. Oh my goodness. Just look at, do you know, it's one of those things that I knew I loved it with this fabric, but now I've looked at it even, this colour in here, these blues and these greys, it's just exquisite. And this is picking up the greens from there. And if I hold it over here, then this dark colour there is actually in there when you get in close. And you've got a tealy colour there, which is being picked up over here. Oh, it just, for me, this is another absolute corker that just is stunning. Now, this is a bundle by itself. Any extra that I could has gone on sale by the half metre. If you wanted to, and budgets allow, why not go for this combo as well? Because, oh my goodness, look at that with that. This is what I mean. This was the hardest thing, was putting like everything together. This picks up all sorts of different colours in there. And actually up here next to the Enchanted brings out all sorts of colours there as well. Those together bring a different game. Suddenly this is jumping out at me. It's just beautiful. And this is it. You see, when I say that this is an unsung hero, this Pacific, it's one of my favourite coloured spots, absolutely, of all time. Look how beautifully that then goes with that, and that goes with that. I mean, just... So, look. These are two separate bundles, but maybe if you've gone for this bundle, maybe grab yourself a little bit of the Pacific spot as well, because it just plays so beautifully. It's up to you. I don't have a lot of this by the half meter, so please, again, grab it if you would like it. I don't know if when I can get this again. I'm talking to my supplier on Friday, but they are out of the country. So how long it's going to take me with all the new stuff coming through, I don't know, is the absolute honest answer. Not a clue. Not a Scooby-Doo. So basically, just grab it when you can, is what I'm saying to you there. I'm sure you absolutely hear me on that. All right, so let's start then at the very basics with this ruler and see where we get to. You're sort of breathing a sigh of relief. She's actually going to do something now. Heidi says, I love the fact that you mix fabric designers. We all have different fabrics, and it's good. I've lost it now. And it's good to see them working so well. It's inspiring. Oh, thank you. I don't feel so bad for fabric cheating now. What's the top fabric to your right behind you? That would be nice on the edge. What's the top fabric to my right? This one. That's Dancing Dahlias in red. Because that was, yeah, that was the one that, it just, they work. They just work. They'll work. Lovely. It's Emma watching from Ireland. Gorgeous, says Leslie, watching from France. Brilliant. Ali, you still have Kaif's autumn kit to make. Haven't been brave enough to cut the gorgeous fabrics. So I can't justify buying another one yet. Much that I am so tempted. Look, here's the thing, Ali. Make it, cut into it. If you make a mistake and you need more fabric, you know where to come. I will try and source it. If you need any extra of anything, you know you've got that backup. You know you can email me and say, please can you try and find me this fabric, and I will do as much as I can to find it. Don't let it put you off. I'm going to let you into a secret, okay, because how much fabric do I cut? I don't think anything about cutting fabric. I worked myself up into such a tiz about cutting the centre panel of the brassica, I had to cut it twice. It happens to everyone. Did I cry? No. I put that big scrap to one side and I cut it from the other half of the half metre. Onwards and upwards. Thank you very much, Joe, for doing the survey. Oh, well, you all have Tasha's Fusion Quilt Kit. They've flown out. Oh, good. Excellent. I can't make any more unless I can get some more of that Anna Maria Horner woven. Not the makes no sense. Fiona says, I'm 70% of the way through the top of a cave quilt, inspired by a pattern from the Burano book. Watching this has given me a kick to get it finished. Yes, was so in love with it, and then it fell to the bottom of my very large UFO basket. Hurrah! Going to enjoy doing something for me. This is it, isn't it? Christmas is over now. You don't have to do stuff for other people for a bit. Until Easter. Got a bit of time. So good. Geraldine says, well, I must sit on my hands now because I've just bought the kit and the book. Couldn't resist. Did you not have the book already? I'm trying to save for an embroidery machine. Missed a bit of the show ordering it. The pattern is in the book, isn't it? Geraldine, yes, it is. So the pattern is in the book. It's either Flaming Hell or Green with Envy. And it... What have I done with it? What have I done with it? They do another 6.5 inch border round the edge. I stopped at 7, they do an 1/8. And so I did the kit exactly as I had done mine. if you want, and this is just a serving suggestion, my serving suggestion, Geraldine, would be the Dancing Dahlias if you want to do a final border. As it is big. We just looked at how big it was. If you want to do that extra 6.5 inches all the way around, well, I mean, it comes down to 6, isn't it? By the time it's all the way around, then it is 6.5. You take off 1/2 inch. Yeah, see, too early. 12.5 inch border, another 12.5 inches around, then add that on, and you will need, if I did 3/4 meters, then that would have been really helpful, but I don't, so I'm afraid you will be left over with a bit. It would be 2 meters of that. I didn't add it on for 2 reasons. Firstly, because I hadn't done it on the quilt kit that I did, so I didn't want you to go, but that's not what it was, and it added £30 nearly onto the price. So no, £30 exactly onto the price. So I didn't want people to be put off, and also if that then made it too big for people. I had lots of, basically, if you want the final stripe and exactly how it is in the book, size-wise, then grab that. It's available by the 1/2 meter. And you'll need 4 units. Did that make any sense? Oh, I don't know. Wondering, can you use stretchy cotton for a quilt? As in jersey? I wouldn't. I really wouldn't. Stretchy, how stretchy are we talking here? Gemma, I'm 40 next month. If someone bought me a Halo capsule, I would cry with joy. Just borrow mine. Gem, just take it home for a weekend. Enjoy yourself. That sounds wrong. Yeah, Elizabeth says not advisable. You can stabilise it, but it's a completely different beast. It is. It really is. Love the phone holder. Oh, what this? Thanks. It's my Eco tablet stand. I've got loads of them all over the place. I love them very much. Right, okay, let's have a look. Let's see how wide these strips are and see what we can do with this ear ruler, shall we? Helps if I measure it from this end. Okay. Let's cut. Let's cut us some. How big is this? 6.5. Right, where are my instructions? If I want to do this with, here we go. Here we go, here we go. Somewhere on here it gives, oh yeah, lots of options. Possibilities, possibilities galore. Using one 2.5 inch strip, this will make a triangle measuring approximately 7 inches long. Okay. But you can also do it should we look at, okay, here we go, here we go. There are various different ways. Let's cut our strips to start off with. So. Let's cut our 2.5 inch strip. And then we'll just very, very quickly sew them together. So bear with me, caller. And we'll do the first very basic one. Okay. And then we'll move on and see where we get to from there. If you're using a stripology ruler, you are good to go. I need to get some more in actually. I think we've nearly sold out. I've just reminded myself. You see, look, scrap basket. In those go. Oh, right. Let's show you the principles and then we'll go on from there. So, right sides to right sides. And 1/4 of an inch seam, down you go, all the way down. In the instructions, it will tell you different directions to press your seams so that they will lock together when you come to do it. So Jane had a good play with this morning, not me. So I am just moving my foot pedal. So you have to bear with me while I go. Now here's the thing, when you sew strips together like this, for some reason, and I don't know why, I don't know if it's that we pull the fabric some way as it goes through the machine, but they never end up entirely straight. They just don't. So what I would say to you is, just remember which end you started from. Now I'm going to best press this when I open it and press it, because we're going to be working on a bias, aren't we? So I will open that, spritz it, and knock that seam back. Where was I? Yeah. So I would start. So I started one end, finished the other. The end that I finished on, I would then start sewing from that end just to balance it out. Does that make sense? So on this, I started sewing this end. So when I sew my next strip on, I'll start sewing from this end. And for some reason, whatever it is that we do, who knows? Who knows? It's a mystery. It just somehow seems to balance it out a little bit. Doesn't always work, but it's worth a good try. Oh dear, I did go a bit wobbly there. Hey ho. Right. There we are. All right, so what I would do is, and that's just if you can, if you possibly can. If it's not going to work because you're adding on to the other end, then don't worry about it. But if you want to, so if I want to add that onto there, then I'll start from that end. But actually, where possible, if I thought about it in advance, then yeah, I would do it from the other end. But let's go as we go. Alrighty. My foot pedal keeps slipping. I need to put something down to stop it from slipping everywhere. Dee, 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 dee. Sorry, I've gone very quiet there. I'm just concentrating. Suddenly realised Now you will take time to sew these accurately and well without going wobbly because you're chatting, moving your foot pedal and all the things that I shouldn't be doing whilst I am doing these. And obviously you will have taken that time to decide which way around, or if, you know, pin. So like I said with the big binding on the other one, because I pinned, I didn't go wobbly. It's one of those things, isn't it? So let's when I first started on sewing quarter all those years ago, and I was a really basic sewer, and I used to tweak people's patterns just to suit me because I'm a little bit dyslexic, so for me it just made more sense making things my own a little bit because I'm not great at reading patterns. Just doesn't always work for me. And we're all different. Some people like to follow stuff, absolutely, and it's all fine. But I just remember getting my very first jelly roll, and I think, gosh, I've spent all this money on fabric. And then I realised I couldn't actually sew a straight line. I was mortified, absolutely mortified, because I'd never done the quilting side of things. I was a craft sewer. I just made stuff out of whatever I made it out of. I hadn't ever thought to quilt and put things together in that way. The most I would have ever done would have been sashed a border. So just this horror, this absolute horror. Now in the instructions, if you are going to, firstly, you would want to, and we'll just do this for demo purposes, you would do two lots, but we've run out of this fabric, so we'll just show you this away. I'm just going to line up those seam lines. You can eke them and tweak them down a little bit just to, this is where if you haven't, you'll cut the line straight if you put your seams up on one of these horizontals. Now the if you are doing, it says here that to stagger by, I think it's 3 or 3.5 inches, your strips, so that you don't get waste along here. But on one of these, because we're not going to have any Y seams, this one here is pieced, so you will need a straight edge at some point. And because this is designed by Rachel and she knows what she's doing, does our Rachel, it's fine. It's absolutely fine. All you need to do is cut off your end so it's nice and flush like that. And when they are sewn together, will give you that lovely stripe there. So this is just one way. This is such a beautiful, versatile ruler. Now we're not going to fit that all onto one of those. So let's turn this around and see where we get to here. Okay, so again, I am lining this, might be easier. No, not going to be long enough. I'm going to have to just be careful how I cut then. So on here, again, just jiggle your fabric and you will line up your lines. You will line up your lines on here. So you can line your seams up along these dotted lines there. Give them a little jiggle around, it's all good. And I'm I mean, I can line that up where I've cut it, but I will just make a nice, neat cut here. So you would have your fabric all beautifully lined up. And you'd have one on top of the other, and they will all nest together. And then you see that will just flip and do that. Now you will need to have more strips in order to do this. That's absolutely fine. We just haven't quite got enough, but I just want to show you the idea of how this would go together. Spin that around. And because you will have a top strip exactly the same, so you'll do two of these and then put one on top of the other. I'm just going to give you a rough cut one of these so that you'll get the idea. What you'll do here is, you see that will attach onto there, and you will flip that, and your seams on here will knit together. I will pin because I'm working with a bias and it's just too easy to pull things ever so slightly out. Now you could do this with all different strips, like you totally could. And because this is Creative Grids, I don't know if you can see, but there, where I cut off that dog ear, this end here goes down like a tick, back to front tick, and that's already sitting there. So I know that when I go to my machine, I just need to line that up there. This will line up here, like so. And that will then line up again down there. Let's take this to the machine. Because I know a lot of you go, oh, it's triangles, it's gotta be white. No. Creative Grids know what they are doing. You just got to be careful. This is why best pressing it helps. Best press is a starch spray without all the white yucky stuff that you can get with some starch sprays. So again, I'm going to press, set my seam, then press away. And what you get is 1/2 of your triangle. Okay, so then all you need to do, say this had been it's not quite, someone's chewed the edge, would be here. Oh dear me. Is you would just have to, how did we do this one? Dink, 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 yeah. You would sew that on there. That's why it's difficult to give you, oh, it would be that way around. So you'd sew that onto there, and of course you'd have the right ones. You'd sew that onto there, and then you'd sew that onto there. But obviously you would have cut 2 layers so that you always had the opposites to work with, or you'd work with 2 different colorways, which is why I put sets of 6 and also 7, so you've got fabric to bind and whatnot together. But that is all straight line sewing. Sew your 2.5 inch strips together, cut them using the amazing ruler. Well, layer them up and cut them, or don't layer them up if that worries you. Just cut them individually. And you saw how I cut that edge because, look, this is the clever thing, right? This is your middle of your triangle. So that's your center line. So when you cut your half triangle, you align the edge along there, which gives you your 1/4 inch seam allowance, which means when you sew those two together, it will come perfectly into that full that full triangle. What do I mean? I mean, look, that's where I cut that half triangle. That, let me show that in the roof. That is my other half here. And you can see that's where that dog ear is. So by the time that that seam allowance is added onto there, that is going to give me my perfect triangle. And I'll have my other piece here. And that will be that block done. And it will look amazing. And you have a play with your colours, have a play with your different effects. If you wanted to do just 6.5 inch strips and just do a whole side of this, just one colour, and do that, then do. If you just wanted to do exactly this technique, but just with one 2.5 inch strip, it's going to give you this sort of border, which would be amazing. It's just about playing. That's why in each of these kits and bundles that I've put together, you've got a dark, you've got a mid-tone, you've got a light. So you've got a dark, you've got a mid-tone, you've got a light, you've got those contrasting fabrics, and they will look phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Have a play with the ruler. I'm going to have another play with it and see what else we can do, because I absolutely love that. But that is it. It's then just a matter of what colour combinations you've chosen to do, but it is straight line sewing all the way. Sew your 3 strips together, cut so that you've got 2 pieces like that, stitch them together, a whole triangle and a half triangle, so you've got 2 pieces like that. Then you will stitch them all together like so. There's your triangle done. So that is that block. So you can see what we've done is on this bottom one, that is just a dark, that's the dark option, which has just given us a different feel. Each one of those strips is just done slightly differently. Oh, you're going to have so much fun. Get yourself some 1/2 metre heavens to work with it. Just do it in 2 strips. Whatever you want to, have a go, have a play, mix your fabrics up, fabric cheat on your favourite designers. It's okay. It's all okay. And yeah, that is effectively it. Oh my goodness. I feel like it was a full-on show today, and yet I've probably only done about 2 lines of stitching, but sometimes that's just how it goes. Tomorrow, Jane is going to show you her beautiful, beautiful kaleidoscope quilt rather than block of the month, because I couldn't guarantee that everyone, with the post being a bit up in the air, would have got their block of the month. So we'll do that next week. That is your kaleidoscope quilt. We've got it in a few different colours. It's done with a stack and whack technique. Sounds a bit violent, but that's what we're doing tomorrow. So please do join us at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. Thank you so much for your lovely comments and for being with us this morning. Yeah, and I hope that you're all okay. And yeah, bit of sunshine here. I'm going to take the kids out and then organise a schoolroom. Wish me luck. Take care. Lots of love. See you tomorrow. Bye bye.